Hey y'all, welcome back to Fake Deep Thinking, where we talk about news, culture, sometimes politics. Let's introduce the crew. We got John. You're muted. Doc.
Yo, what's up?
Ian in the figurative back. And myself, Eugene. Alright, so a small little update just because, sometimes when I defend faith or talk about faith, and when I'm wrong, or not wrong, but like I do a poor job doing it, I like to do some self-correcting because when we talked about it with Doc about the whole, like, when I said basically babies and evil, it definitely was. We're wrong because John was right. In the Bible, it says born from sin, and then when I read it more, that's basically where the premise is from, where it's like because we're born from the original sin, we have the potential for evil. It's not that we are evil, it's just that the potentiality in us is there, and we tend to like always choose that route. That's kind of what it gets to and what it's saying. Just wanted to say, like, I did a horrible job representing that. Like, obviously, I was a little bit too extreme with my wording, but just to be clear, because like I said, I'm a terrible Christian. I'm trying to be better, but when there's an opportunity to provide some clarity, I got to do it. And second thing, I'm injured. I hurt my foot this weekend playing volleyball, and I tried to, block a spike with my short ass. And when I landed, I kind of hit the guy's foot a little bit, and I kind of rolled it. So I don't think it's broken. People are arguing it's sprained. Maybe it's just bruised. But yeah, my foot's pretty swollen, and I got a nice little bruise line going across my heel. So if you see something weird right here, it's where I've been elevating my foot with some ice packs. So don't judge me there. But
The other guy's
yeah.
foot worse?
No, dude, I landed
That's
on
awful.
his foot. Yeah, I landed because I landed on his foot. Because when I went up for it, like he came down first, and then I came down on his foot, and I came on his foot, and then kind of like rolled it.
That's happened to me too. I've been doing like this exercise where we both are kicking like the same kicking bag in like Muay Thai, and then I accidentally kicked the other guy's foot and ended up wounding my foot more than the other guy that got his foot kicked. So just shit like that happens. It sucks.
Yeah, and it didn't help either. I had like a wedding that night too, so I was like at the wedding like dancing on it too.
Dang, making it worse. That's
A little
bad.
bit, yeah. The next day, like it was really swollen. Like it was fat. It was fat. But now it's not so bad. I literally iced it all day yesterday, and the swelling went down pretty well. But yeah, me being an idiot, a little reality check. You're like, hey man, you're pretty old now. You can't be doing these athletic things that you're used to be doing. All right, let's. For real, that was a joke at first. I thought I pulled a hammy because the way I was walking, I was like, nah, it's my foot. But all right, enough laughing at me. Let's get to the topic. So the first topic we got for y'all is an Indiana Republican, Ryan Webb, mocks left by coming out as lesbian woman of color. I chose the Washington Times for a reason. Let's scroll down real quick and let's watch the video.
Facetious? He was mocking it.
Yeah, is he actually doing it mockingly?
That's why I said let's watch.
You baited me with.
Let's watch the video first. That's why I chose this, because they're framing it a certain way. And I mean, whether or not they're right or wrong in this framing, let's watch and find out. Let's read. Go ahead, Ian, play it.
Be given the same space and respect to explore my identity. A councilman is coming out as transgender and a woman of color. Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb announced that he now identifies as an Indian American woman. Since that announcement, he's received some support, but a lot of backlash, many calling him childish, despicable, even calling for things like execution. In a statement Webb gave to ITMate, he says, quote, "It is unfortunate that I cannot simply be given the same space and respect to explore my identity that so many of those targeting me demand for themselves. It's possible I may change my mind down the road. The process of identity exploration is complex, and oftentimes at the end of our personal journey, we end right back where we started." Webb goes on to tell ITMate this is just his true, authentic self.
He's a troll, man. The guy's a fucking troll.
That guy's a fucking troll, dude.
So let me read this real quick and let's get into it. Okay, so Republican Ryan Webb may look like a typical straight white male, but he wants the voters of Delaware County, Indiana to know that he identifies as a lesbian woman of color. The county councilman ruffled some feathers after announcing last month on Facebook that he has decided to come out and finally feel comfortable announcing my true authentic self. even though he hasn't changed his appearance or conservative views in any way. Don't know why he needs to change conservative views to be trans, but whatever. It is with great relief that I announce that everyone that I identify as a woman, and not just any woman, but as a woman of color as well, he said in the April 12th post. I guess this would make me gay lesbian as well, since I am also attracted to women. Indeed, Mr. Webb said he is happily married to his wife, Brandy Webb, with whom he has 6 children. Damn, 6. I am, quote, I am continuing to retain my preferred pronouns of he, him, and I am married to my beautiful wife, Brandy. Mr. Webb said on Monday on Fox News Channel Jesse Waters Prime Time. She's running for the Muncie City Council in tomorrow's election. He added that makes me a lesbian because I'm completely in love with her, even though I identify as a woman. We have 6 children together, so I think that more than qualifies. Not everyone has accepted his gender transition at an April 25th County Council meeting. He was accused during public comment of mocking the transgender community. Some called on him to step down. His detractors on social media have questioned the sincerity of his gender conversion, calling him, quote, childish, disgraceful, and an ignorant bigot. Indeed, Mr. Webb posted before and after photos of himself on April 18th looking exactly the same. Quote, if he were serious, I'd sing his praise, said transgender activist Charlize Jameson at the city council meeting, but instead I know better. We all do. I know better because of his history of making hateful anti-trans statements on social media and disrespecting one's pronouns. He has purposefully and intentionally misgendered me, ridiculing my own gender identity. Webb acknowledges that some people have really been upset. They've been mad about it. We had a group of individuals who showed up at our local. There's a bunch of quotes at this point. People are upset. And then I wanted to get to his response after the the city council meeting they had when everyone started to berate him. They managed to show videos. Well, I can just give you a quick summary. I'm not going to waste time to look up the video. Basically, that video of the council meeting was people were just questioning him, blah, blah, blah. And to the point where one person said if he were serious, I'd sing praises. And at the end, he pretty much said, this is the standard and rules you guys set. You have no right to question me, and I have no obligation to provide proof to you. And that was pretty much his rebuttal to them at the end of that. So, I guess I'll start off the conversation by addressing this one person right here who was at the city council. They're saying if he were serious, I'd sing praises, but instead I know better. How do you know better? Like based off the standard they set, how does this specific person individual get to proclaim that they know better? That's why this is funny. Like I go to John's point or example of that. I'll let you talk after this. Is this example of the snake finally eating itself? You finally got someone on the right using their points, their I guess ideology or whatever you put it against them. Like, is this the evidence of the snake eating itself? And go for it, John.
So the snake eating itself because he doesn't believe what he's doing. That's the difference. They believe what they're saying. He does not believe in what he's saying. Hence, it's trolling. If he people that like to identify about going through like I guess arduous journeys or stressful things, trauma, I guess. Sometimes I find that they can try and dictate how other people go through trauma or handle their trauma. So in the same sense, I don't think it's fair for them to exclude him because like you said, the standard they set. So that standard you set, you have to accept everything that comes with it. But he's obviously trolling. So the person's not wrong to say they know better because they do know better. They just don't know better when it comes to them.
But I guess that's because honestly, to be fair, like yes, we're looking at him. You said at the beginning, I completely agree. He's obviously using it against him. If it's not trolling, he's using it against him at the very least.
Correct.
So, but it's still disingenuous for them to claim or her to claim or whatever they were. They knew better. It's like, but you don't, because like based off what standard do you know better? Because based off their standard, you just have to claim it. So do they have to go through surgery? Do they have to wear the makeup? Do they have to go through the process? Basically, is that a prerequisite?
No, the person. That's why I said they like to dictate other people's journey. The journey doesn't have to be dictated by how you want it to be. I mean, that's just the news. That's just the news. That's just the article. But they do know better because it's not about them. When you're looking at other people, your I don't want to say your judgment's more realistic, but you take away a lot of the nuance when it comes to looking at other people versus yourself. So whereas a person who is a trans or whatever may they identify more with the struggle of the trans than the actual identification of the trans. So like,
So it's more about the journey than the identity.
yeah, so like the
We can
person
relate based off their journey. We probably struggle through the same things. So it's the fact that they can't
correct,
relate to him, kind of thing. That's the problem.
correct, automatically ostracized. And then his background, like if he said whatever he said, I think it's absolutely hilarious. I think we've all made the same joke. We've all identified as water bottles or crabs, or you got kids in school identifying as cats. But I mean, honestly speaking, I just don't. I feel like the people who are taking the time to be mad at him are corny,
But that's I
and
think the
also feel like he's corny.
I think that's kind of the point, though, and I'll let Doc speak up finally, which is I think him coming out this finally shows that and maybe it's not the right way to phrase it, but the idiocy of this whole like thing. Because if this is how this particular community wants to navigate amongst themselves, dude, that's fine. And if
This
we
guy's
have,
picture,
what'd you say?
Yeah, the guy's picture's fucking
this
hilarious, bro.
guy's he's a dick. You just look at him and see his
Yeah,
asshole.
yeah, you can just see it. Yeah, that's what I thought too when I saw the
Nigga uses
picture
gel.
earlier.
Someone
Nigga
finally
still
had to do it. He was the
he's
biggest
still
dick enough to
spiking his
step up and
hair.
do it.
But
He
see,
still
that's the thing.
spikes his
He's
hair.
also
Yeah.
he still spikes his hair. He's pandering too. Also,
To a
that's why
degree, I
like
don't disagree with that.
the
Yeah,
jokes are funny. Jokes are hilarious
you
when
gotta
they come
prioritize the
from
joke.
yeah, but the joke isn't being prioritized here because he's the one making it.
That's
I
fair.
can tell
That's
he's
fair.
making the joke with a bald fist. It's not it's not just about the joke. And also, we've all had this conversation. He's like the guy who sends you a video you've seen already on Twitter 6 months later. We this joke is late. This whole thing is late. We've all identified as something else just for conversation purposes, just to show how idiotic some of the way they think is. But he's not on the frontier of anything comedic. Probably
So,
saw
do
a
you think
Facebook post.
what do you think his intention was mainly to be comedic, or was he trying to?
Man, he's trying to piss people off.
Yeah, I
He's trying
think
to
he's
piss
just
people off,
trolling.
and by pissing them off, he would rile up his constituents to. Uh, so it's all a look at him. Look
Yeah,
at
he
him.
even mentioned because
Look
he
at
mentioned
him.
his wife. If you want to prove to give more credence to your statement, because he mentioned his wife, who was also running for an election somewhere in the minister, whatever he said. So you're right; it was getting some attention, and by default, you getting the attention goes to your wife because you mentioned her. They're gonna like what you did, support her. Like
He's
I
not
feel
going to
fair.
lose votes
You're not gonna lose
if he's
votes at the
already
very
all
least.
the way leaning that way. He's not going to lose votes.
So do you think, even though his intentions were obviously, or let me before I say anything, go on. Do you guys something to say, Doc?
Well, I do think that the person who's the trans that says that like they they know better, I'm pretty sure they're just vibing on the sarcasm. Like if they can pick up on the sarcasm, then at that point it's just like that's all you need to know. But I do also think that he is definitely poking holes at their logic. I mean, we've always seen the holes and we kind of flip it. It's just kind of like nobody really does it in public, at least initially for like the, like the, like by 2020 to like 2020, stuff like that. When there was so much uproar, everybody just don't want this. This guy at this point, I feel, is comfortable enough, and maybe his own account for whatever he's running or his like, community is that he was able to just be like, you know what, I'm gonna make fun of him publicly, and his constituents are probably like, yeah, get him, and I don't know if that's riling them to vote for him, but like maybe that's what his county vibes on. I have no idea. Like it's kind of interesting because it kind of makes me wonder if like his county, a bunch of people that are like sick of the left, and he's preying on that uh, emotional aspect of them to, oh, like I know these, they 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 just like, I don't like that, I hate that, and they just like, it's like all I have to do is just trigger them and then they'll get to the polls for me. So he's kind of just leading the charge, this troll, and seeing how many people show up. That's what I think. I mean, if it works, it works, but it kind of that's kind of like a shitty way to get voted in for something. Yeah, I also wonder like what the fallout for like if in the future like would you be taken seriously should you actually get some like what if later on you go up for governorship and stuff like that and then you have this like would that actually play out better? And
Well, the question is, did he legally get? Did he just? I think he just did it through Facebook. He didn't actually go through the legal process of changing his gender or identity. He just made a statement because that's the argument from that left side when it comes to that community is they don't have to do all that as long as they themselves make the claim. Then you have to acknowledge their self identity and be accommodating to their self identity. And I'm not discounting his poking fun at it, but like he at the end of the day he is showing flaws in the logic and that's why I go back to what I said before. That's why her saying we know better, like I get it, like we're very aware that's a joke, but at the end of the day you have to address the fallacy he's bringing light to or the illogical inconsistency that's he's bringing light to. Like you
Why
technically
is he
speaking
making this
claim you know
joke?
better.
Why is he making this joke?
Why is this a
Why does
joke?
the joke
Exactly.
exist?
Exactly.
Why is the
Yes.
punchline so easy?
Yeah. Ineffective.
yeah, it's obviously because there's just holes in the logic. And my thing, like I've always said, like my thing is the quest of accommodation. Like, it's just to a point where it's just like, wow, like this is too much. Like, then that's usually whenever I draw the line with an individual, let alone a group. I would imagine my line is further. I hate tell me how when I've never even met that person. It's like hear ye. They might scroll and tell me how to fucking talk to the shit like that. Like I just don't like that. But I do think if he actually wins on this, it says a lot more about his county
I don't
than
think
it
he's up for
does.
re-election. He's already this wasn't him like doing some kind of re-election campaign thing. I think he just randomly did this, and it might give credit to what John said. It
Okay.
was more so probably a public stunt that, like,
Yeah,
we
he's a
didn't we
public
didn't
figure.
intend to do this, but hey, it just happened to happen when it comes to his wife getting reelected, or even boosting his potential when it comes to getting reelected, probably next year
He's
in 2024.
inconsiderate. The reason he's inconsiderate is because by default he's made his wife into a lesbian. So
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering
That's
too about the
actually
wife, because
that's a valid point.
she's along for
Actually,
the ride, man. And I was thinking about that too. Like she's got to be in the joke.
so like that's why this shit is the fact that we can pick holes in his logic shows how illogical the original idea is. Why does his wife have to why does his gender or whatever what is it his sexual orientation or whatever you want to call it have to automatically affect his wife's preference? It should be individually, whatever it is. If you're a woman and you identify as a man, it shouldn't turn your husband into a gay man. That's not how it should work.
no, a gay woman. He
Right?
says it makes them both
So
gay women.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying I said if I was dating a woman and she all of a sudden wants to identify as a man,
Ah, and you become a gay man. Gotcha.
but then too, why would I care the what was it? What did the person say? We know what's real, or
What we know
we know
better? That talking
better.
about? Yes. If he
We
were
know
serious, I'd
better.
sing his
You're
praise,
not
but
gonna
instead I know
see
better.
me. You're not gonna see me and a woman and say, "Oh, there's a gay couple," because you know better. So, like, I say that, but at the end of the day, if you just add realism to it, I shouldn't even be like, "What?" Somebody's gonna look at them as a couple and say, "Oh, look at those two lesbians." No.
Nah,
So
he's gonna
then,
have
why
that
does it
card in
matter?
his back pocket though. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm a lesbian. Got him."
I'm a lesbian.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just throwing spitballs, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to take away the obvious like poking and fun he's trying to do, but it just bringing light to the is it wrong to say idiocracy of all this?
No.
I mean, it's elementary, but like the thing that like
But
I
this is in our politics. That's why I said like why in our political stage are we
it's
even entertaining this?
it's
Like
just because
from
mass
all
media,
avenues.
like mainstream, makes such a big deal out of it. Like that's why it continues to be a topic of conversation. But the thing that I'm most worried about whenever I see stuff like this are like the fanatical people, like the ones that are really radical, like the ones that were threatening him like his life and stuff like that. Like those people are those people are fucking messed up, man. Like just flat out, like they couldn't see the joke and be like, oh, whatever, man, screw. I don't even live in Indiana. They saw this and were like, gotta bust out my keyboard and immediately threaten this man or tell him to go kill himself and stuff like that. Those people, I think, are really a core issue that needs to be addressed from both sides. When the right guy does it, when the left guy does it, like I think it's something that needs to just be kind of pushed out altogether. Because then you can't even just like push past something like this guy acting a little bit, immature.
He
I don't
laughs at
want
his
to.
own jokes.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's move on.
Like he laughs at his own jokes, even if nobody else is around.
Is it wrong to laugh at your own jokes?
If it's a good joke,
Like what if like
who's
they
gonna tell you that?
I
by
don't
the
know.
by the reaction, right? There's the reaction. Everyone's laughing at this. Like we may be seeing the
It's all the
annoying
people that
nuances
laugh.
of it.
Nah, it's all the people that laugh but have that one vein that go up their forehead because they're not really laughing. They're just making the laugh sound.
Ah, okay.
We got them, guys. Looking
I,
at us.
I was always taught to look at the eyes when people are laughing. Because when you smile, like when you genuinely laugh, there's like they go up or like they have a different, I guess like a thing that happens to
Mhm.
them. But when that thing doesn't happen and the smile is still coming out and the person's still laughing, it's disingenuous.
Look at Doc trying to read on body language and cues. Doc trying to find out if you a liar, if you disingenuous with your laughter. He wants to know, is that real?
Bro, sometimes it helps, man. This is an anecdote, but I play some social deception games every now and then, like Secret Hitler or those other types of games where we're trying to figure out who's like what and like werewolf. I played this one game with a couple, with a husband and wife. I was so fucking mad because the husband was on my team and the wife caught him every time he was lying. And I was like, fair, dude. She knows you in and out. Like, you can't hide it. Like, I was so mad. I was so mad.
That's actually funny. All right, let's get to the next topic, which is Yahoo Sports. We got former Bills punter Matt Araiza wasn't present during alleged gang rape. Grape. I gotta be better about that. Already messed up. Okay, so
Are you just using
this,
gang in the R word?
yeah. So this is gonna be a bit of a long read, but it's gonna provide, I think, more details than other articles I was trying to pull up, and I kind of wanted more context for what, because this is obviously kind of a sensitive subject. So let's get into it. Last August, just days after earning the starting job as the Buffalo Bills punter, rookie Matt Araiza was the subject of civil lawsuit alleging that he and two San Diego State football teammates participated in a gang rape of an intoxicated 17-year-old girl. While little was known publicly, San Diego police had spent nearly 10 months on the case before forwarding it to the district attorney without a recommendation for prosecution. The Bills said they also knew about the incident, investigated it, and decided to employ Araiza anyway. The graphic allegations in the civil lawsuit, however, created a public frenzy. It included a claim that during an October 15th, 2021 party at a home near the SDSU campus, Araiza led the girl into a bedroom where at least 3 other men waited. Quote, once inside, Araiza threw the girl onto the bed face first, the lawsuit read. The girl went in and out of consciousness while suffering through the horrific gang rape. It lasted an hour and a half, the lawsuit read, before she stumbled out of the room bloody and crying, in part because multiple piercings had ripped through the skin during the attack. Within days, I'm assuming they mean body piercings. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Within,
there had to be. Well,
yeah.
I'm assuming as well.
Yeah. Within days, the Bills cut Araiza, who, due to his record-breaking NCAA career and an 82-yard punt in a preseason game, had earned the nickname Punt God. When quote, we just think it's best to move forward for everyone to move on from Matt and let him take care of this situation, Buffalo general manager Brendan Bean said. Araiza remains out of the football despite prosecutors announcing on December 7th of 2022 that after conducting their own 124-day investigation, they wouldn't press any criminal charges in the case. However, few details, let alone the reasoning or additional exculpatory evidence, were included in the initial statement. A fuller picture of what police and prosecutors found, however, is now available via a 200-plus page transcript obtained by Yahoo Sports of a 100-minute meeting in which a deputy district attorney offered a detailed explanation to the girl and her attorneys. Perhaps most notable, the district attorney's office concluded that Araiza couldn't have led the girl into the alleged gang rape because he left the home at about 12:30 a.m., an hour prior to when evidence suggested the alleged gang rape would have occurred. Quote, he wasn't even at the party anymore, Deputy District Attorney Tricia Amador explained. Later, Amador stated of the timeline of events, all I know is that at that point, suspect Araiza is gone from the party. Additionally, prosecutors told the girl that video recordings of the incident in the bedroom made it impossible to determine, let alone prosecute anyone, whether there was a gang rape at all that night rather than consensual sex with the other men. Quote, in looking at the videos on the sex tape, I absolutely cannot prove any forcible sexual assault based upon what happened, Amador said. I'll read this last paragraph and let's get into it. The accuser's attorney, Dan Gillion, could not be reached for comment to Yahoo Sports. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Gillian said his client won't be, quote, bullied into dropping the civil lawsuit. Amazing. Quote, it's not going to happen. This case is going to trial and will force Araiza to talk, he said. Wow, that is amazing. Let me read this last one here real quick and then let's get into it. Gideon told CBS 8 in San Diego that witnesses whom prosecutors based their opinion that Araiza was not present during the alleged gang rape was a, quote, buddy. All right. So.
But she was for sure raped.
No. They're right here. I'm looking at the video on the sex tape. Amador said this is the lawyer for Araiza. This is the lawyer.
So there's actual footage of the actual intercourse, not just
yes. It's a sex tape. There's an actual sex tape. And the lawyer
trained at that point, right? Multiple people.
And that's why the lawyer made the statement. Like, I can't say it's a gang rape more so than a consensual sex act. So I guess at this point we got to see the sex tape to make a solid conclusion. But if they're saying this about the sex tape, and they're like, not.
Yeah, I was like, he's not bringing it on, man. He's just saying like that would be where the answer's at.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, like if you want to know solidly whether this happened, they have the sex tape. If you really want to know, go watch the sex tape. I don't recommend it, but like at this point, we gotta trust the lawyers now. If the lawyer watched this and saw this, she's gonna take this to trial. And if the defense lawyer really says, no, we're gonna take this to trial, well, take it to trial then. And I think if it proves that she lied about the gang rape, I don't know why this is a thing, but she should serve time. The same time that all those guys would have served if they were found guilty, she should serve that time.
So is part of her argument that she was drugged or inebriated?
I didn't see anything about being drugged. I think it was more so about being inebriated.
Was she actually messed up though? Like it says
Yeah,
that she left. It says she left bloodied.
Yeah.
Well,
so
my question is, who's making that? Is she claiming she was bloodied and all that, or does the video show that? Like the video proves all of this at the end of the day.
I get what you're saying, and one person who saw the video said that they don't believe they have enough sufficient evidence to charge him or anybody, I guess, from the video. But that's not to say anything could have happened after the video. And also, if she was just too fucked up, that might not be something you could see from. I don't know how long the video is, but that might not something you could just be able to see from the video. Because, like, yeah, she may be drunk and I guess enjoying it because it is intercourse. But
but were they drunk too? Were these boys take advantage of a drunk girl, or is it drunk people engaging in drunk sex?
I guess that's why they're gonna have to go to trial to figure it out.
Because that's. Sorry, Doc. Go on.
Well, the person who's also talking about the video is Araiza's freaking lawyer. So obviously she's defending him. Like she's always gonna spat from his corner.
Fair.
So that's why more people kind of have to see the video that are neutral to judge it. Yeah, he's a punter. And then I guess they're gonna have to break down everybody's stories to make sure they line up to see that he wasn't even at the. And then
if he wasn't there, that's fucked up.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that like that's two separate cases though. Like, was he there? And then once that's solved, did these men commit rape or not? And that's a whole other issue.
I mean, obviously he's probably the only NFL player amongst the group, so to name him would probably be really easy.
Yeah, he's
He's
probably
a
the most
punter,
famous.
so he's a punter. That's just like a guy with a really good job.
Apparently,
He
there's
gets
multiple
paid like
videos. They had 10 search warrants, including numerous short videos of some of the alleged encounters. So they have a lot of evidence of that night.
Did I mean they let him
like
go though, did they? Like if he gets acquitted for this, is he going to be able to get back his job?
I don't know, honestly.
a lot of people can kick that ball, my boy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Like I think even though they could have been like, awesome, you're not a rapist.
It's
Hope
not
it works
worth it.
out for you. That's what I'm
It's
assuming
not
is gonna
worth it
happen.
because he goes to a game. You remember what happened with Kaepernick? He goes to a game. You have people outside protesting your game and taking away from the sport and this and that. It's gonna be. It's just not worth him. It's not worth signing a punter. If he can get you a Super Bowl, maybe. It's not worth signing a punter.
That's wild, man. Like you
Okay,
get
here.
that NFL deal, you might as well just go live in a bubble.
Well, here real quick. This is some, I think, some information that might need to be provided. So the lawsuit edition alleged that Araiza, quote, knew or should have known that the girl was only 17 years old and that she was, quote, heavily intoxicated. But the girl and some other high school friends became aware that the party was being thrown at the house just a few blocks from the SDSU campus. The group let themselves in through a back gate. Witnesses interviews from the party, including two of the girl's friends with whom she arrived, said she didn't appear to be drunk at the time. Other witnesses said the girl was telling people she was 18.
Yeah, I think the age is
So
also
is that now a
really
problem too?
awful.
Like she obviously was underage. She
Big,
snuck into a party and then lied to people, telling her she's of
big
age.
problem. That's a
Like it.
big. That's a big. It's all messy. And honestly speaking, even just this story saying it out loud, it's understandable why, like, it's just not good to be promiscuous. Like, honestly, dude, it's just not. It's just not like,
I don't even know for him, man. Like honestly, if he really left an hour early, then it's not even his fault. He just went to a party, some high schooler snuck in, and he jetted, and all of us not
yeah, just
identifying
because he was at
her
the
and
party.
taking her out of the party and stuff like that. Like I've been to so many parties where I'm just like, all right, I'm out. And I never cared about who was walking in.
So here's some more. I'm going deeper and deeper into this because, like I said, this was long. I didn't want to read the whole thing, but I'm trying to like skim through this while you're all talking to give more context to the encounters. There's some more stuff. So, quote: the witnesses say, and this is from the friends apparently. The witnesses say that shortly after you arrived at the party, you left and came back shortly thereafter. Amador said, and you told a friend, "I just had sex." You didn't appear unhappy. You appear to be having fun, and that the encounter on the side of the house with Matt suspected Araiza was consensual. Amador explained to the girl that additional witness testimony alleges that at this period of time you were, quote, approaching men at the party saying, "I want you to blank me," expletive, and "I want you to blank me. You're a blank." So I don't know if this is on. I don't know if this is on video or not, or if this
You're a
was if
what?
it's just blank. Like, I want you to expletive me, and if you don't expletive me, you're an expletive.
What I'm trying to explain to Eugene is I would get everything on Jeopardy but that last one. You're a what?
I want you to fuck
For
me.
it to
If
be one word,
you don't
but
fuck me,
one word blank.
you're a bitch. You're a pussy or something like that. That's what
So
I'm
I want
assuming.
you to fuck me. You're a bitch.
No, no. I want you to fuck me, and if you don't fuck me, you're a bitch.
Thank you, sir.
You're missing the middle part. You're missing the middle part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm now whole. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just love the interaction I just witnessed of Gene telling you that and you saying thank you, sir.
I'm
And I'm like, dude,
I'm gonna go
what
off
type of approach is that?
I'm gonna go off the crazy end, not crazy end here, but I'll jump off the board. And I think what happened here is you had a young girl who was at a college party where she shouldn't have been. She was trying to act all.
Mute myself, Gene.
I'm gonna mute myself. Where was I? You had a young girl as a college party where she shouldn't have been, acting towards college men a way she should have been acting, which was testing their masculinity, which is amongst college men who are more than likely confident in their masculinity because they've interacted with girls and they reacted to your provocations, and you had sex with them, and they fucked. Like, and she regretted it. Was she drunk when it happened? Probably. Is that a what's up? You're pointing at me like I said something wrong, or you want to add
Parents
something?
involved.
What do you mean are the parents involved in the lawsuit?
Chances are her parents in a scenario, the scenario you've painted, it's also possible that her parents found out, and
Oh, that's
her
right.
only
Oh, that's
option
actually a valid
is
point.
Yeah. And
the
then
only
all of a
option
sudden,
is
reputation.
tell my parents like that,
Yeah.
or
I was gang raped. That's actually a very valid point. I think that's right.
happened before.
I think you're right. I think what happened was she was all excited about it, because like I'm not trying to slut shame her. I'm just saying in the year of 2023, girls are now able to sleep around just like guys. And let's be
Sorry, Chief.
honest,
The word slut and shame being together is so contradictory. How can you? Why would I? Isn't me calling you a slut shameful?
bro, I'm just using the words
So
they use.
why is
Leave me
slut
alone.
shame?
Leave me alone. We'll talk about this another time. It's a word they
Yes,
use.
sir.
I'm using it.
Yes,
I
sir.
completely
Thank
agree
you.
with you. It doesn't make sense. It's redundant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize. Thank you.
But anyway, I'm trying to protect myself, dog. Okay, I'm trying
This
to cover
I
my bases.
understand.
fucking shameful adultery.
I think she was really happy about the interaction because in 2023, girls can be as promiscuous as guys. And I'll be honest about some as guys, at least how I was back in high school when I was, sleeping around is you saw me brag about like, yeah, I got her. Yeah, I got her. Why can't girls do that too? Well, it wasn't that degree, John, but you know what I'm talking about. Come on, you knew me in high school. You were muted, by the way. But anyway, and what makes you think girls can't do that too? And based off the testimony that we've heard here, the witness there is she was doing that. Like she can do that. Nothing's wrong with that. And now the more likely situation is somehow the parents got word of it, did some prying and questioning, and now how could my beautiful innocent daughter be this way? No, she must have been gang. That actually makes sense to me. That seems more plausible.
There's also a possibility that
Based off the video.
Well, there's
depending
also a
on the video.
possibility that she actually did get messed up. Like maybe those
Yes.
dudes did go a little too hard, and like
Yes.
physically you can see, marking. I don't know. Well, if she's bloody, then that's an issue in
Well,
its. But like,
If she was bloody. If
yeah,
she was bloody.
if she was bloody, but
yeah,
I'm reluctant to push back and make this point. I really am. I make this point with like a grain of salt or with some like give me some brace here. Is she did come off based off the testimony real aggressive. If
no,
you
I
don't
definitely,
blank me,
account
you're
with that. Like, I
so
can
what
definitely
if she
see.
so
Well,
what if
well,
she was
what I'm saying though is like, I can understand if she's like, popping off like that, and then there's some dudes that actually engaged where they were like, all right, well, I'm gonna take you up on this, and it makes sense why she probably walked in and got pushed over immediately. Nah, we ain't bitches. Like, this is how this is happening. My thing though is that like if they went too hard and she went home and she had physical marking of the encounter, dude, like her dad, her mom, people.
okay? I get your point. Yeah,
And then immediately after that, she's like, right, and then just like all of a sudden, like the whole thing happened.
Or she changed her mind after the first guy. Or
That's
after
true
the
too.
second guy. Like, even if she came off aggressive verbally, first off, she's 18, so she's gullible.
17.
17,
Yeah.
so she's
Yeah.
gullible. So, as far as a man talking to her, yes, she may have presented herself as, oh, I'm 18, let's have sex. And I guess if you're looking at it that way, what's the difference between 17 and 18? They're both too young. That's the difference. But it's possible that they saw the gullibleness in her, or the how easy, like something was off. Like those men shouldn't have been also like, yeah, whatever, but something was off. Like I would have had red flags.
Can I make a take what I think might happen? No evidence for this. Just make an assumption based off what happened here. So
What we do here.
So she tested a guy's masculinity, right? Like if you don't fuck me, you're a pussy, pretty much kind of situation based off that.
Reverse
What if?
psychology.
Yeah, reverse psychology. What if the guy pushed back and said, "All right, I can fuck you, but you ain't about this if you don't let my boy hit it also."
It's a crazy sentence.
And now you have them both trying to push each other, blah blah blah,
Crazy sentence.
and it got to a point where it's like it got out of hand.
That sentence was out of hand.
I know. I was fine. Like, I'm just like we're trying to, because it came. Like,
I'm right there with you. I mean, there's liquor involved. It sounds like a frat type party.
sounds like it.
You would know better than I what goes on at frat parties.
I mean, I feel like the sports
Does
teams
it
in
get
general
that
have
wild?
the same mentality. Like even if they're not like officially Greek, I think like the sports team, really the
It's
team
Greek. It's
mentality
a
is
different type
still
of
there.
Greek, but it's Greek.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah,
frat.
yeah, I agree with that.
It's the
So,
fraternity kind of mentality.
and
Exactly.
also, I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me ask y'all a question. Maybe I'm tripping. If a girl offers to hook up with me, and my immediate reaction is, "My boys need some,"
That's weird.
it's weird, right?
I mean, it depends. And I won't go as far as if a girl offers to have sex with me, I won't be like, "Hey, you got a friend have sex with my boy?" That's dramatic. But I think along the lines of, "Hey, I want to hang out." Like, "Oh, you got friends with my guys to come hang out?" Like that. Like,
Those are different physical
yeah,
human beings.
that's fair. You know, that's fair. It's
Offering
not
the
human
same
beings,
human
but
being
just
over
like
and over.
different interactions. One is I'm going to hang out with you. Do you have girls to also hang out with my friends? One's like a sexual thing. It's like that's obviously you're not going to be like, "Hey, what about your friends with my friends?" Like, but then again, these are kids in 2023 when everyone's very sexual nowadays. So we don't know if that's part of their courting process now. You know, like we're
I
old guys
mean,
now talking about 18-year-olds and this crazy stuff. Like the
She
water's
did
so
say,
murky.
she might
she
have
did
also
say, "I
boasted
had
too.
sex."
Like what if she boasted like I'll take y'all on, and then all of a sudden the guys were like, all right.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's literally what I'm trying to allude to. I know it might be a fucked up point to make, but the way she came across like she was this. Let me be careful here. Maybe not that she was experienced, but at the very least, she wasn't 17. Like I'm 18, so therefore she embodied the mentality of what she thought an older, more experienced person might be.
Not about some months. The problem is here, how old were these guys during the time? That's a real question.
I don't think that the article says, but that is actually something that they're probably gonna take into account when they
I
do
think
the
Are they
they were
spot fishing.
freshmen.
23-year-old guys?
I think they were
Or are
freshmen
they
or sophomores. Probably
they're
20.
freshmen, so 19, 20?
Yeah, 20. No more than 21, probably. Let me double check for you though.
I guess we can find out his age when it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna find out his age. And I'm gonna use that to base that off.
Also, I don't know many punters that just go to school, college 1 year, and then go straight to the league. So
He's 22. He was
probably
born
have
in 2000.
he's 22 when it happened.
When it happened, no, I think
When did this
it was
happen?
21. I think is what it said.
So he was
So I would
19.
assume that the oldest guy there is probably like 20.
Yeah, during October 15th of 2021. So yeah, he was
2023.
he was 20.
He was 20. He's young enough to be that stupid. But
Yes, I agree. I agree. He's not gonna be that stupid.
no, and I don't mean stupid by actually the grape. I mean stupid by like to be baited by
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because I've had experiences where girls were like this, and I stayed far away from them. Like I love telling the story because it was so funny. Where I was at a college party, and it wasn't a frat party, it was a college party. And for some reason, this one girl there was just checking all these guys, like getting in their faces. She ended up getting in my face, and I wasn't budging. Like she wanted to fight me like that. Like I'm not gonna say the whole story, just be like summarize to a short story. To the point where she wanted to fight me in my face, and I didn't back down. And next thing you know, this girl's sitting on my lap, like she's like on my lap, flirting with me, being all over me. I remember looking at Derek and being like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I was like, this was such a switch up. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, no, like John knows my past. Like, I'm not fucking with you. You
Gene's
terrify me.
really
Get
let
the
me tell you
fuck.
something. Gene's really good at starting some shit and then deciding he doesn't want to let me find the right verbiage for this.
ah,
Continue, I guess would be the best one. And
I have
then
no problem cutting it. If I want to cut it, I'll cut and I'll dip.
he'll pull out, if you will.
That's a good one.
Ah. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Once I hear that, don't have to ask me twice. I grew up with John. Bad things happen. We turn and run. We don't ask questions.
Correct. This is correct. It's the proper
Funny.
training.
I never had an experience like that, but I did have, I guess, like tutelage of that because my family's a lot in the military, and I've had uncles that are like in officer positions, and they've like that shit is fucking, you know.
Everybody in the military be fucking,
And
first off. And then most of the people, the men in the military are sex tourists.
a sex terrorist?
Tourist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Terrorists and tourists, they should change those words. Those are pretty close. And they're polar opposites. One's coming to have a good time, one's coming to fuck up the good time. But
But
no,
yeah,
yeah.
I remember him saying that, and even to like his own like underlings, he would say, he's like, dude, if they're going into like what he would describe basically as like heat, like you kind of just need to step back because you have no idea if shit's gonna happen.
Oh, here you go. Boom, boom. Here you guys go. Prosecutors also said that videos from the bedroom show that the girl's piercings were not ripped at the time and she was not bleeding from any wounds. Amador said her behavior in the videos made prosecuting anyone for rape impossible. Again, that's the punchers.
That video must have all those men busting a nut too then. Because unless it's the whole experience, you just don't like what if they're like, all right, we're good recording, you can rip out her fucking
That's just
chances
what I'm
are that's not
wondering
what
too. How
happened.
long the video
But
is?
yeah,
If it's like a
like
Snapchat scene, it's gonna be.
the
It might not be
lawyers,
enough.
the lawyers or whoever all obviously believe that the video was the whole engagement. So I guess I have to go with that. Because that's just the way they're talking.
You definitely also need to see photos, like post photos, just like just pictures of if she actually had the piercings torn out of her. Because if in the
Yeah.
video she still has them, then yeah, you know, the video might not tell the final bit of the story, but
And also a real hospital would have checked the angles that the piercings were ripped from. Because if you're ripping your own piercings, the angles is not going to be the same. You're going to pull closer towards you're going to pull towards your body regardless of where you're pulling. And I doubt the 17-year-old was smart enough to strategically pull it from a different angle to throw the cops off her trail.
yes, these are all freshmen.
Around that age, if not freshmen, sophomores. And to be honest with you, like
People who know the truth are her friends.
yeah. Well, that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
Some of these witness testimony statements are from her friends. I'm not sure if all of them are, but some of the ones I did read, they were from the friends. So I'd like.
She said, I just had sex.
Here,
And
let me
she
go
was
back.
fine.
Not that she was fine. The
She
lawyers
wasn't she
the lawyers make it like you seemed fine, like you weren't distressed.
got you.
Yeah.
Where to say the friends?
I hope they say the truth. Like if her friends say, yeah, she's like
Most
that,
of the
or if her
time
friends say like, oh, that they forced themselves on her and then figure it out.
they tell one person before they die, or
Yeah,
they keep it a secret, or they wait till they're old.
Yeah, witness interviews from the party, including two of the girl's friends with whom she arrived, says she didn't appear to be drunk at the time. And then, so.
I mean, but that adds to her case because she can then say they got her drunk.
But that's the thing. I'm not trying to read the whole thing, but then it alleges that she left with Araiza, or how you say his name, came back, appeared to be fine, left with another guy, came back, still appeared to be fine. Like she was just
So there was manners involved.
Yeah, this chick was leaving with dudes and coming back.
That's what they're saying.
It's a big difference to the whole story, dude.
Well, no, there's like I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure what they're saying is it was like all the guys were at once, or if
I assumed.
or I did assume that too, or it was just a bunch of guys in rapid succession kind of thing.
You.
Oh,
She pulled a hat trick.
You mean she left and had sex and then came back?
Okay,
I thought
so
like she just left and hung out with him, and then at some point, like she just 1v3'd everybody or 1v4'd or whatever.
Like, you know what? It was the end of her Bachelorette episode, and she said, "You know what? We'll take all you guys. Everybody get a rose. God forgive me. Hey,
So,
cut that
yeah,
part
here-
out,
so-
please.
We'll get some roast.
Yeah, cut that part out, please."
all right,
She
so
had to
here
make
it
a
says
joke.
right here. shortly after arriving, you left and came back shortly thereafter, and you told a friend I just had sex, which was allegedly suspect Araiza. And then again, right here, you had returned and then came back and said you had sex with a guy. This would have been the second person that would have been in the progress of the evening. Again, you described it as being okay, not scared or distressed. You seemed happy, seemed consensual. And you're not intoxicated at this point that anybody would know you're intoxicated level to the point that would not be able to tell that you weren't able to give consent. And I'm assuming if we
It's
read
a
down
civil.
further,
It's a civil case, right?
I think
I
so.
think so, yeah.
Oh, so she wants money. There's no reason for a civil case other than money.
I got to go to what you said. Like, or is the parents like, if she was like this that night, like it maybe it might be the parents because I just don't see a girl being that have that kind of mentality, and then afterwards that she
Parents
was like this in college. I mean, high school. That means she was like probably for the wrong
like
purpose,
that.
but she was the school like you know what I mean. So
But her parents need to win the court case in order for them to believe their daughter.
that's tough. That's facts. Honestly, that's rough. That's hard. Mm.
It's not even about that no more. It's really about I don't want to see my daughter in a different way. He has to be the victim in this. And so winning any type of court case, whether it be civil or not, lets you walk away with some sense of pride if you want to call it that. But like stuff like that can make people delusional too. Like stuff like that could wreck
This
the parent.
Hold on, let me read this. Let's close out this topic because this actually might end up working against Araiza, the punter. So the prosecutors offered to show the girl and her lawyer all of the videos they culled from cell phones. The girl watched one during the meeting before deciding that was enough. None of the lawyers in the civil case or Araiza himself has seen the videos because they involve sex with an underage girl. Ariza's legal team is trying to acquire these videos through a court order as a way to defend him against the allegations. So it sounds like he might not be able to use them as evidence because it's underage girls, even though it might exonerate his or prove his innocence. Exonerate him, I think is the phrase.
He can use it as evidence. He can't look at the video to see if it's good evidence or not.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
like he can use it, but like, what if it's a video of him holding his social security and his ID,
fair.
saying, "Here we go, gentlemen."
Yeah.
Like,
I think the reason why she's doing the rape thing is because she has visual markings. I'm looking at it now, and I saw pictures. Her neck is like, it looks like somebody choked her out. Like she got choked out from all the dudes. So I'm pretty sure no way.
Your mic's cutting out a lot, Doc. We have no idea what you said this past like 2 sentences.
Did y'all hear me? Can
We
y'all
can
hear me
you
now?
but it's been
Okay.
it's been bugging out.
What I was saying was that I found a picture. They don't show her face. I guess she posted like pictures of her neckline and all fucking bruised up. You can. So I'm pretty sure went home. Summer man, turtlenecks. But there's just no way she could get rid of that, and I'm pretty sure she just cried grape.
Okay, I'm looking
whether
at.
it's true or
Are,
not. Like,
are those not
he got caught.
hickeys? They look like hickeys.
are they? To me, they look like fingers.
If we're looking at the same picture, they look like that's not how fingers go. Like that's not how.
Picture at. I want to see.
Here, let me see. If this is the right picture, I'll post it in the Discord.
You might be right. You might be right because you can see the little circle. Never mind.
This starting to sound more and more like the parents saw markings on her, and she made a false claim to the parents. Now the parents are pushing this to a certain point. Like this starting
to sound like a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah,
like bruising.
Ian, I put it in the Discord if you want to pull it up for everyone to see. It looks like kickies. Like that doesn't those specific bruises. I'm not a forensic guy, so honestly, what am I talking about here? To be honest, but based off what I've known about hickeys through my lustful experiences, these look like hickeys. Like you just like from a chokehold, that's not where you see the marks unless they were like grabbing her like this. But even still, you see the fingers going in a vertical line, not a horizontal line. Like how do you grab a girl's face like that and like choke them like that? Those look like hickeys.
Yeah, you might be right. Looking at it like this,
I would say watch it. I mean, I don't know how people's bruises I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how white people's bruises work. So do it go from red to black? If even do the hickeys also turn black?
The
Or do
hickeys
the
look like
hickeys
bruises
just
sometimes because it's literally
no, I
what a
mean
hickey
I know they
literally.
look like bruises, but the process of healing, does it turn black? Because black always like
Yeah.
signifies like
So
a deeper
initially,
damage.
depending when this picture was taken, if this was taken within the first like 24 hours, then it will look like that. But over time, they will start looking more and more darker because what hickeys are is it's the bursting of the blood vessels. So what is happening is you have the blood kind of bleeding into the epidermis of the skin, and obviously as that's bleeding out, it's going to get darker and darker, and that obviously will heal and go away over time. But that's what it looks like to me. It looks like this is within the first 24 hours of getting a hickey. If we saw a picture in the next 24 hours, I bet you it's probably darker, maybe more gruesome looking, but they look like hickeys.
I just
In
didn't
my
know
opinion,
because like with 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 us, it's just red and we don't see the black because of our skin tone if it does occur.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like that's why
to
I was
me,
asking.
this one right here looks like a
Still
finger,
funny.
Right?
like a finger kind of drove in. That's why I'm
On the
assuming it was
right,
like a
right?
hand like that. Like, yeah, the one on the right.
Mhm.
That's why I kind of assumed it was that. And then that top, I guess, like indent right above it would be like the index finger going above it. Because I'm imagining the ring finger or the middle finger is what's pushing in there, and then the index is going up. Uh,
How is the index, the ring finger, stronger than the index finger? Like some of that's why I'm saying these imprints, in my opinion, like I'm not a forensic guy, I'm not expert, but they just don't make sense to me. Like if you were getting choked out, because let's be honest, like some girls like getting choked out, some damn near the point of your bruising. I just don't see the fingers being right here because you're actually doing a airway block, which is actually does lead to death. What the whole point of the whole like choking thing is more of a circulation block. That's what gives it the slight lightheadedness or whatever. Those bruises will be right here. It won't be on here because this, if you do this, you're killing the person. This
I
is how
mean,
you kill somebody.
but do you think the 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds know that? Like, they might
No,
just
my
choke you.
point. No, my point is
Sure
if they
do.
were if they were choking her to the degree that they created bruising, where they were where the bruising is, she'd
Okay,
probably
yeah,
be dead.
okay.
Uh
And
yeah,
maybe, like I said, I'm not an
yeah, I was
expert.
gonna say maybe because like some people bruise easily also. Like there
That's
is an
fair.
in between between like choking her out to death and like doing enough to bruise her.
But
So
if you're
like those
doing it
bruises
here,
might not be as painful or as
Yeah.
damaging as we think. But on the same time too, I have two questions. One, if you're choking her, you're gonna do your hand. Let me leave the Discord so I can see who the fuck. If you're if you're if you're choking somebody, you're gonna go like this, right? So the hand prints should be on the side. But also, if you're kissing on a girl's neck, you start the sides, and then so like I could see it being hickeys because like if you start at the top of the neck and then you make your way down or whatever, I could see it being a hickey. But then I don't know about the ones that directly in the center of her neck. It just seems like an odd place to give somebody a hickey. Like your head angle to give somebody a hickey there.
My rebuttal to that is if she's straddling somebody, because then she's taller than you, and her neckline hits your
That makes
face.
sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it
That
comes
makes I just
down to
couldn't
the
think of it
video. At the end of the day, it
yeah.
comes down to the
to the
video.
child pornography.
'Cause
It
for
literally,
me,
unfortunately, yeah.
damn it, for me the circular nature of them is what makes them me be like, yeah, they're probably hickeys.
Yes.
She's also
Yeah.
got a lot of bruising on her knees, and that's in a different photo. So they were like
Who's the
all
fucking
top.
doctor?
She just got wrecked.
Who's the fucking who's the fucking doctor who saw this and told her parents, yeah, possible.
Well, who's gonna be the doctor
So
to tell her no? Your parents like.
so
Yeah, I think
on
that's it,
top of
man.
that, wouldn't there be some type of if at any point she decided that no was what she there's people who can I guess hold you at gunpoint or whatever it is, physically, whatever, threaten you into coercing you into doing it, but there would be some tears, like vaginal tears. Like she would I find it strange that they
I
haven't
get your
mentioned
point. Like
anything.
forceful marks, forceful evidence,
Yeah. Like there's
and
break into a
what
house.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I guess since you said I'll address it, they did mention towards the end that the lawyer actually told the girl, "You weren't. We didn't hear you saying anything like stop or this hurts. Like you weren't making any auditory like things to make us assume that this wasn't consensual, that they were forcing themselves or anything like that. I don't, like I
Pray
said,
for that father.
for real, like, man, that's tough.
We need to pray for that father because
Um,
he's also finding out his daughter's not a virgin.
he's finding out a lot. Not, oh man, that's tough.
He is in the house tearing shit. Triggered. Why is this damn dishes in the sink? Like
Do you
he
do
is.
you do you think he'll actually believe, even though, like, after all this plays out, and let's say the punchers found not guilty, or even the guys, all of these guys, honestly, I'm assuming they're all into trial. They're all found not guilty, and it turns out that it was consensual, and your daughter's basically the town flagpole. Uh,
I don't know.
how
Well,
does that make you feel? Like,
I'm sure like if
do you
you
think
make
he'll
like
accept that?
No,
no,
because
he's gonna be
somebody being
pissed, but
go ahead,
like
Doc.
I'm just saying like nah, he's gonna be embarrassed and sad. Also the fact that like she was able to get
Yeah, I don't know if you
messed
got a
up.
program running in the background, Doc, or your mic's like plugged in terribly, but you've only heard 3 words that entire dialogue.
I don't know. It might be just my internet like being choppy or something like that.
Working
Gotcha.
fine now.
But like yeah, like the embarrassment is gonna obviously overwhelm her about it. Maybe she was even afraid of that, and then rape. You know, the court case is gonna solve it if she's lying or if she's not. And the other thing too is the wrecked. Like that's just dangerous.
Yeah,
So
his whole career.
yeah,
His career's
Yeah.
ruined. But
No,
like,
but
hmm,
I don't think so because I mean I don't think people normally just assume that the courts just got it right all the time. Like that's what appeals are for, and that's what all these things are for. So for that man to continue his life in some semblance of what it was before, his ego is to protect the truth. And not even the truth, whatever he fears it may be. Even if every court in the world found them innocent, for his own sake, he would have to tell himself he believes his daughter in order to not deal with the opposite. And also, it almost gives his daughter room, like, just lie to me. Like, just lie to me. Just, I
I
can't
guess
take
to
this.
avoid it.
Just lie to me.
yeah, it's avoidance. Yeah. All right,
That's
last
life, man.
question. Yeah, last question. I guess let's call it, which is, now that we've had this lengthy discussion about all the potential avenues,
What do we think? Happened
yeah,
for real?
what do you think happened for real? And do you and if you think he isn't guilty, do you think she should receive some kind of backlash?
I think I've had my drunk nights in college and I've never done anything crazy. I don't think I've ever even had like drunk intercourse or anything like that. But I will tell you, I was at a club with some friends. We were all dancing, and I wasn't a drinker. I just started drinking, like serious, like to be drunk drinking, and I ripped my shirt right there in the middle of the dance floor. Ripped it right off my body, split it in half. Now let me tell you something. There is no scenario in which I thought that I would rip my shirt off, but I did. It was one of my first time learning how to handle my liquor. So I say that to say she probably got more drunk than she's ever
Intended.
handled,
Yeah, it was a college
and
party.
just got into the flow of things, or not flow of things, but got into too riled up and forgot that actions have consequences. And so she allowed the hickeys, even if it's just hickeys. Like she'll in that scenario, she allowed the hickeys and didn't consider that she would get caught. And so when she got caught, the easiest excuse and the quickest one was
Yeah,
that.
extra all accountability also.
And it's also not fair to her parents because it's forcing the parents to weigh, you're using your parents' trust against them in that way. Don't you believe me? Don't you believe me? And there are people who are actually getting
lives
Go through
destroyed.
these things, yeah, and like I mean, even on the women's part, there are women who are actually going through these things, are scared to come out because of stuff like this. So I mean, I pray it didn't happen just because prefer that nobody got raped, but
Fact. Unfortunately, yeah, I prefer the outcome where they're innocent and the parents now have to pay some type of, I don't know what the legal word is, but like reimbursement kind of stuff. Like they get countersued and they got to pay now his legal fees kind of thing. I think he should. If this like you gotta, unfortunately, you are the parents of an underage girl that decided that she was a lot older than what she was and act like an older girl that she a lot older was. Had to now handle grown people problems, and your parents now got to pay the fine. You gotta pay your dues. Now you gotta make her just. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Actually, anything I got that, Doc?
Yeah, I agree with a lot with what John said. Where like, I hope the situation is where there is no grape at the end of the road. Um, More so, what I was thinking about was like your question about like, could there be a counter charge outside of like just paying the fees for these men and stuff like that? Because I mean, she's defending her reputation, but it seems like the more and more we come across these kinds of situations, so
The guy's reputation just tarnished, even if he is
yeah.
innocent.
And so one of the things where it's like an entrapment.
You said entrapment.
Yeah, if you go to men into and then you kind of cry wolf, and it turns out to like, is there that would meet that hesitate? There are that actually, and if you kind of a because if you're wrong, it's entrapment. You know what I mean? Then that's gonna make them even more suppressed. And so, yeah, I just feel like it's a really, really thin ice road to walk on to try to get some kind of justice for these types of situations where the woman's in wrong, and at the same time, like help the guys out a little bit on just to balance it out because it does feel like like if she really was great, those men will see hell. If she wasn't, everyone's gonna be like, we're cool, you're gonna get slut shamed, but that's it. Go back to
Can she be a such thing? Like, is like her now that she? Let's assume that the punter's innocent and the trial's over with and he's acquitted and it was a false allegation. Can we now is this free reign to like, as the term I used earlier, slut shamer? Like, is there now it's like free reign?
I think the general consensus is going to be like, oh, no, be mature about this. Like, it's a very serious situation. You can't do it. But I think a lot of people in the community are going to be like, yeah, we're going to, like, nah, it's definitely like the girl's going to take reputational damage, an exceedingly large hit to her reputation.
Yeah, I was
But
about to say, really? I kind of just like, what do you mean? Like, I think she's gonna have no problem. If anything, very
couple years,
limited amount of
no,
people.
couple years.
I
Yeah,
think
I think she's.
I think
Yes,
she's gonna have problems because everyone's gonna have the story and everyone's gonna be like, I don't know about like messing with
She's a
her.
local girl.
Yeah, but
She
also like
moved
the
to a whole
people
new
around
city.
her have issues too. Like it's just not her that's only gonna deal with the situation. It's
move, then
fallout from
move.
different people.
All she's got to do
Parents.
is move.
Dude, you say that, but I also think that a lot of people set roots and sometimes it's not as easy. So like some people might deal with it. Like what if they have an elderly and take, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of have to
I
ride
can't
out the
exact.
waves.
I would love to rebuttal you, Doc, but I have no idea what you said.
Uh, well, what I'm saying is like, what if there's an elderly person in there they have to stay around to deal with? You know what I mean? So like, they can't just leave. Like, there's sometimes roots that are so thick they
If
can't
they
pick up and
feel
leave.
that moral obligation, sure. But if a girl, I'm gonna say person is willing to accuse
He's
something
talking
of
about the
something is,
family. You're talking about the girl.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about the family because I'm thinking about everybody else to deal with that. Like going to
It's crazy. The girl actually comes out the most scot free.
Yeah, actually, I think that's correct. I think Doc has a point there. I don't think he realized he's making, which is the family is actually going to get more pushback and repercussions from this than she actually will. Because I agree with John. I don't know if you're going to make this, but it seems like we're going down this route, which is I don't think she's going to see much pushback from this. Maybe for a little bit, but after some time, this all blows over. I don't know if she's attractive or not, but she's a girl at the end of the day, and she's going to get guys' attentions no matter what.
You can never redeem yourself from raping somebody, but you can always redeem yourself from lying about somebody raping you.
That's a good question, though. So, like, if you met somebody who openly told you, if you met a woman when you're recording her, who openly told you she once falsely accused somebody of rape.
For me, I would say, for me, that's a deal breaker because that's a sensitive subject for me.
That's a deal breaker for sure.
Hell no. I look at her as some type of way. I got to talk to God because instantly, like, she's the scum of the earth in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to ask, is that a red flag for y'all? For me, it would be too, because I feel like, oh, fuck.
How recently was this?
100%.
When did this happen?
Okay, I got questions. I got hella questions.
But 20 years ago.
Okay.
I still got questions. I gotta know you're not like that anymore, but I still don't want to deal with you.
15, just to make it more understandable.
Reasonable age-wise.
Yeah, reasonable. Yeah. So like we're dating in our 30s, like we are right now. 12 years ago. That way they're like at 18 when this happened.
Oh no. It would depend on how much of the person's character I knew up to that point. Like if I find out after dating the girl for like 3 years and I'm like, oh, I already have a pretty good judge of her character. That's not the person she is anymore. Because people do grow. Like that scenario within itself, if she got caught and exposed, could have dramatically impacted her in a way that put her on a right path or whatever.
Assuming she got caught in a pose and she's
assuming she got caught. But if she was just like, oh yeah, this nigga in jail right now, that 15 years ago I said rape.
Fucking eject, bro. She could put you in a box when you to rot. Like if that's the case.
You know what I'm gonna do so quick? Grab my phone, press record, and say, "You said what?" Just like that with that voice. You said what? Like, just say it again, girl. Just one more time. One more time.
See, this is why John's better than me and why I gotta ownership with God more. Because if she was proven like wrong, but she changed her character, like John said, for me, God forgive me, I still probably wouldn't.
It's personal experience, dude.
I'm sorry.
That's hard. You don't need to ask for forgiveness. It's personal. Like that's your personal experience.
Well, the reason why I look for forgiveness is because as a Christian man, I'm supposed to be able to forgive and look past and see the new rebirth, righteous person. But that would be hard for me.
Jesus did all that shit. He said we should try.
He said we should try.
We should try. And you're putting maximum effort in, my boy. Trust me.
Yeah, I would have to see the way the person speaks about the situation. Like if it was 12 years ago, I would definitely be like, "Do you feel bad about that shit?"
She got to bust out crying and tell the story. Yeah, she got to be telling the story like, "I should." I feel so. That's when I'm like, okay, come here. She was like, "Man, I sent him $20 a month on his books." Like, oh, you wicked bitch. You wicked bitch.
Oh man,
we stuck at this topic a little longer than we needed to, but it was definitely a funny conversation. Thank you all for tuning in and watching some fake deep thinking. If you liked the video, like it if you haven't. Leave a comment if you haven't left a comment. Let us know how much you hate us or love us, or how much this conversation felt interesting. We love those type of comments.
Also, viewers, check in when y'all on the YouTube watching live. Just say your names in the chat or something. Just say, "Hey guys,
let us know you're here. Let us know everything's working, and stupid things aren't happening in the background, like Doc's freaking mic.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I gotta work on this.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to upgrade. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, if you haven't commented, leave a comment, share the video, get some more people in here. We'll see you next time on Fake Deep Thinking, y'all. Peace.
Yo, thanks for making it to the end. We really appreciate it and hope you all enjoyed the show.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the notification bell to get notified when we post our clips.
Follow us on Twitter at PodcastFDT. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are all Fake Deep Thinking. Check us out.